Views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Monday in the Riv, and we've got to always begin with something about the wonderful environment we're in. Got this little ditty off somebody sent it to me, Ashley Ferreira. Trigger warning, caution thing. Does anyone who lives on South Main Street near where Griffin Street intersects have cameras facing the street? I was assaulted this morning by a man claiming I hit him first, and I need the footage showing I was just trying to run to my car to get away from him when he grabbed my hand so hard that he snapped my iPhone in an OtterBox in half. And now I have glass stuck in my fingers as a result. I'm going to need that footage for court. So. Oh, yes, all the yuppies, please come down. Just come down. In case you don't know where Griffith Street is, it runs past Corky Road.
Yep.
So, because that's Griffin Park, that little park across from Corky Road. I don't know what they call it now. Who knows who they, you know, with all the naming, it could be named after some political tech now. But when I grew up, that was called Griffin Park.
Well, here's the interesting thing, while we're talking about yuppies and whatnot. Winslow Warehouse on Rodman Street.
Yeah.
It's been approved for 16 market rate apartments.
Well, it's got a great view of
The opening of the rail trail. and all that lovely art underneath.
And also the DPW area.
Yeah, that's right.
So they can look at all the stuff coming into the DPW.
And they got all that noise from the highway.
Yeah. It's a wonderful place. Yeah. And again, but remember,
and guess who?
But remember, we got 23 units right now.
But guess who went before the planning board to support this?
Tell me.
Ken Fiola. Imagine that.
You know, if you gave me 100 guesses, I'm not sure if I could have got it.
I know.
I don't know how I could. I mean, a last name that would pop into my mind if you talked about who is the prime mover of market rate housing. Kenny Fiola, God, you know, I'm aghast. I don't know what to say. Kenny Fiola, what a surprise. Market rate housing, the thing that's going to save the city. Just like a building is saving our school system, we're ranked 335th. So this again is. You know, they don't care about the people. Market rate housing isn't going to save anything. We're not going to gentrify Fall River. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. But don't take a look at it through these glasses, because this is what Paulie uses. He uses the virtual reality glasses. They live in a different world. They're not building any market rate housing around the Fiola's house. I can guarantee you that. And what are they going to do again when they oh, you know, what did Paulie Pockets say? Paulie Patronage? That the people need tax relief now. And he had now in bold letters. In capital letters, so he could emphasize on it. Now, not when you promised it the other two times, but you're going to promise it again. But at the same time, we're not going to get tax relief. We're going to get a Chinese checker move. We're going to take opera money and then reduce the bill a little bit so you don't really know how hard you're getting hit till next year when the opera money isn't put in there. And then they're going to raise that, and I can see it in front of you. So this is one of my segues. I love to segue into things.
The thing is that they don't even let us know how much we're paying for the debt exclusion.
I know, and there's going to be a complaint written about that at this budget cycle, because I'm sick and tired of them saying, trust us. I don't trust them.
I don't trust them either.
I've never trusted them. We always know that money goes missing, stuff are missing. And what are they going to do? And what are they going to do now? Because they care so much, Paulie patronage cares so much about us. What are they going to do to you? Not only is your taxes going to go up, fasten your seatbelts, people. Here comes the water bills, and I know CJ's got them in front of him.
Yeah, well, you know, it's really interesting because it's a dichotomy of fees.
Oh, yes, a dichotomy.
Another sesquipedalian word, you know?
That's it, dichotomy. It's
according to what was proposed to the City Council last week, and which is being reviewed by the Ordinance Committee next week, they're going to strike out in paragraph A of subsection 2 of said section 575 per CCF, which is the sewer rate, and inserting in place thereof $6.06, effective July 1st, 2023. That is a grand total raise of $1.31.
$1.31.
Right.
All right, everybody, fasten your seatbelts, because remember what they're going to tell you again, the big lie. Well, it'll only be so many cents per this day, and it'll only average this, but we're still looking. It's like looking for the dodo bird or a dinosaur. You know, not a dinosaur fossil, but a real dinosaur. You know, it's unbelievable. We're still looking for the person that gets that average that they always quote. We've never
found one
We've
yet.
never found anybody that when they say it's only going to be $21 and everybody else's bill is like $100 and $90 and $80. But again, I want you to go over that little duplicitous. In case you don't know what duplicitous is, get the dictionary, because we're going to. But let's put it this way: they're lying their butts off. They tried to cover it again, like Paulie does with everything. Cover-ups. You have to really dig in to look at the real effect, because there's two different numbers. The number on the surface is not the number that it really is.
Right.
You want to explain to our wonderful viewers,
in
our
subsection,
loyal fans, what they did.
In subsection 2, which deals with the water rate, not the sewer rate now, the water rate.
The water.
Remember, the sewer rate went up $1.31.
Get out your pencils so you can write all this down.
It says, by striking out in subsection 2, 271, and inserting place thereof, 289, which doesn't look like a lot of money. That's 18 cents, right?
18 cents.
Okay, effective July 1st, 2023. Now, here's where we get.
Oh, you got to turn the page. You see, they don't want you to turn. Don't turn the page if you see this.
Now, here's the ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Fall River as follows: that Chapter 74 of the Code of City of Fall River, Massachusetts, 2018, which chapter relates to utilities, be amended as follows: by striking out Section 74-353 in Appendix A fee schedule, which section relates to the rate for metered water in its entirety, and by inserting in place thereof the following: for water billed on or after July 1st, 2023, per 100 CCF, $3.77.
Well, that's not 14 or 18 cents, right?
No.
Isn't that $3.77?
Yeah, $3.77, and the rate we're now paying is $2.71, so that's $1.06.
That's not 14 cents.
That's
or 18 cents or whatever. You know, look, they're con artists, and guess what? What they're doing is illegal. They have a fiduciary responsibility to give the taxpayer accurate figures. And I got case law for it. But again, they don't care about the law. Paulie just pockets your money. That's all he does, because that's what they do. Here's a con job. There's a con job. You got to turn the page. And, you know, maybe the only one who will talk about this is maybe Michelle, because the rest of them will talk about the 18 cents. And then they'll go up there. Well, you know the question that should be asked at the council if you're going to do any citizens input, which you should. Or a counselor who really cares. Ask them when they're going to finally get rid of their consultant. The guy that worked there for 40 years as the director, and then they hired a new director and gave that director a salary, a good salary.
Right.
And then they hired the guy that used to be back to come back and work for the city again. Right? So now he's a consultant. He's a consultant. Another paycheck for Terry Sullivan. Another one. He's going to work here forever till he dies. He's going to be on the Fall River welfare system for political ticks. That's what's going to happen. They stay on the payroll forever. Why? We hired a director. The guy can't run the place. He needs a consultant. Of course they do, because they never hire anybody that's qualified for anything. That's why when we have
Well, they're saying they can't because they don't have enough money to pay them. Because, but with these rates, I don't know where they're not getting the money.
Well, yeah, well, you know, they've never explained really how they use the money.
Right.
But they always want more.
Right.
No matter how much you give them. And this is another thing. We always talk about our, you know, one of our favorite places, Newton. If you go look at Newton's budget, and I will be perfectly frank, I haven't looked at it in the last year or two, but I looked at a lot of Newton budgets. The Newton budget, when you have it, they have water department, and then they have a whole section of what is on their calendar for this year.
Right.
What they're going to do and how much it costs, to
Right.
the penny. And then they also have a section that's a recap of what they did last year, and they say, this is what we promised last year, this is what we got accomplished, and then they give a reason if they didn't accomplish it. But that's the other thing about Newton. Those people there, and they're rich for the most part. Most wealthy town one of the most wealthy towns in the state. They care about their money. They don't want some politician wasting their money. It's always in these gateway cities where the people are too busy trying to pay their rent.
Right.
They can't pay attention. They just they let their pocket get picked, and they elect people like this, which they shouldn't next November. But if they do anything outside of what they put in the budget, they're not going to get the money. They can't spend it. They're going to go back in front of the council.
Unlike
unless it's an
city council.
emergency. Unless it's an emergency. But what do we do here? They're going to set that rate, and 2 weeks after the budget's approved, they'll be back in here looking for more money,
Right.
like they always do. Because this is what they do to you. They rob you blind. They don't care if you can't. They don't care if inflation's killing you. They don't care if you can't make your new rent that's more than double what it used to be. They don't care. It's like, you know what Kenny Fiola says? Let them eat cake and move out of town. We don't care. You know, Paulie, we got 23 units. We got over 90,000 people. That's it. Take out your, oh, that's a big one. Whoa, DJ, whoa. Shoo. Wow, big money.
This is what it's going to cost you on your sewer rate.
$50 a quarter.
Right.
Not a year.
That's the CSO rate. You know that rainwater tax? There it is, $50.
$50. Oh, I got to start collecting soda cans. I'm on a fixed income.
I know.
You know, I got to start going around picking up soda cans. I don't know how I'm going to pay my water bill. I don't know how, you know, $10,000 off the top. That's what they're figuring for the people because of this inflation out of your income. How are you going to live on this when you got a median income of $28,000, which is the median per capita income? That's $18,000 you're going to live on, and your rent is $20,000. You're already $2,000 in the hole. If you've got the median rent, which is $1,700, multiply it, do some math. But then again, Paulie doesn't care. There he is. There he is. He's up in City Hall right now, and his minions are watching the show. He's got his glasses on. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? They're crazy. Of course we are. We're not. But he's the guy that gave the Swami the proclamation. But, remember, Paul took responsibility for that. I'm taking responsibility for being a dummy and not knowing that country didn't exist. And this guy was a con man. You know, anybody who starts his name with Swami, you better check into him. I'm giving you a hint, Paul, okay? I'm trying to help the city. I'm going to give you a little hint. If Swami Maharishi Yogi, whatever, contacts you
Supreme Pontiff of
or wants the
Hinduism.
Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Yeah, I think that's what he actually called himself.
Yes, he did,
Supreme
SPH.
Pontiff of Hinduism.
Yep.
But you might check into it, but no, all you like to do is optics. Oh, I gave the Swami Maharishi Yogi Hare Krishna, you can chant and everything else. No. I might get a couple of Hindu votes. I don't care. The fact that he doesn't exist. But you know something? I was really encouraged by the fact he actually took responsibility for something. Mm-hmm. Because
First for everything.
What's next? I don't think it's coming, but maybe I'll change from being a pragmatist, not a pessimist, a pragmatist, to being an optimist. Maybe this is the beginning of a brave new day for Paul. He's running for re-election. Maybe now he's going to take responsibility for doing nothing on crime, for doing nothing on affordable housing except, pretend, do nothing about the drug problems we face, do nothing about the I've got the pictures of the trash, but another thing, we segue in. We love segues on this show. We just widen.
Yeah.
Because nothing's scripted, we just move. These are, and I got a whole bunch of them. I'm going to run out of ink. It's costing me more money for this show now. I got to keep buying ink because,
Yeah, well, my ink is toner, and it's really expensive.
Yeah, you really got to, this is graffiti.
That's what we bought the 2 graffiti machines for.
Yeah, and there's graffiti on that one. Remember, you had the picture of the one downtown on the ticket machine
Yep.
and you buy the thing.
Yep.
Welcome to Fall River. This place is such a crap hole. We got graffiti on your pocket thing. And here's another picture. And listen, I'll be the first to admit I am not an expert on graffiti. But I was told by people who sent me this stuff that there are gang signs on these things.
We don't have gangs.
Gangs marking their territory. And I've got a whole bunch of these pictures. Oh yeah, the yuppies are gonna come down on a train. And this is actually down near the train, by the way, just for,
I'm surprised the train station hasn't been graffitied yet.
It will.
I know.
Give it time. Give it time. But he takes responsibility for writing a proclamation to the Swami Wami, but he won't take responsibility for anything that affects the living conditions of the people of Fall River. Not a damn thing about crime, not a damn thing about fixing the police department, not a damn thing about affordable housing. We got 23 units, so we're going to build another 40, 90,000, if we get to 40, which I don't believe we will, 63. Somerset, it's like this big compared to Fall River. It's like Fall River's like this big. They're like this big. They got 64 units being built now. You think that's sufficient? All that is lip service and pretended. And by the way, we haven't forgotten that you tried to get out of the affordable housing at Maple Gardens.
That's right.
You tried to get out of it by saying, oh, we got enough public housing. Well, it's not public housing. It was affordable housing. There was a contract entered into. You notice that went away when people started complaining?
Yep.
Why? Because it's an election year.
That's right.
But if he gets reelected, that'll be the first thing he'll be doing again, trying to get his fingers into that. Why they want to get their fingers into it, we don't know. But then again, CJ, what do we know in this city? Nothing.
That's the problem.
Because we have had allegations again. We know that the allegations of groping.
Yep.
And I have had...
Back to the school department.
I have had more people acknowledge that that is factual.
Right.
And it was in more than one instance.
Correct.
By this individual who's connected.
Correct.
And they're covering it up again like they did with Malone. And nobody heard crickets. Now we got another allegation that came to us over the weekend. Actually, before the weekend. It was like on a Friday, but I was after the show. But we checked it, and it seems to be plausible. And it's amazing. The city's in chaos, but the school department's always been like the Hermit Kingdom. I mean, that place is like the Wild West over there. So what does he do? We heard that the head of security The head of security is on paid administrative leave because he was engaged in improper sexual behavior on school property with another employee. Wow. Allegation, again, allegation. However, you don't think this is important enough for the people to at least acknowledge this? You don't think it's important enough to tell people? No, it's not. It's more important that you cover it up, because then everybody's going to stop putting all the pieces together. Fist fights, attempted rapes, improper touching, teachers groping students, this, the Malone issue, all of these together, they'll say, holy, this is chaos. The school department's chaos. If you're connected, you can basically do anything you want. It's kind of like if you're Hunter Biden, you can have videos of you hooking up with hookers. But if you're Donald Trump and they don't like you, well, whether you like Trump or not,
They arrest you.
you know, they'll arrest you for anything. And if they don't have anything, they'll make up crap. But the reality is, this is what happens. This is not, and it is to a degree have and have-nots, because the haves really, you know, they don't kind of care. And some of the haves are upset because they don't have as much as the larger haves. And even they're getting screwed in this city because it's a small cabal. This is more the connected and the unconnected. If you're connected, apparently you can do virtually anything, especially in the school department, and nobody will ever know about it. So what's the story here? You know, everything else hits the news. They arrested a teacher, I think in Providence, somewhere in Rhode Island. They arrested a teacher for doing something. You remember that, CJ,
Yep.
last week?
Yep.
Or something. They arrested a teacher last week or the week before. And Newton again. Newton, oh, by the way, you probably didn't see it this morning. Newton, man, headlines again. They actually had a crime.
Oh, no.
You know, remember the time that somebody did something and it was a minuscule little thing, and they you know, it was actually media news because it's Newton. Well, today I saw the pictures on the cameras of a pizza place got broken into not once but twice by the same people, and they had the pictures, and now they're on full-scale alert. It's like they're being invaded by Red China. You know, it's like Newton had somebody broke into a pizza joint. It's like, God, if they ever, yeah, they're going to come down here, Paul, because that's the environment they live in. You know, there's virtually no crime. So that's a big deal. It's all relative. Down here, shots fired, don't worry about it. You don't have a bullet hole in your house. Shut up, go away. But, you know, you don't have a place to live? Go to New Bedford, go jump in the Taunton River, go do something. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Kenny's going to be saying, let's build some market rate housing overlooking the city dump.
And you know, the thing about that market rate housing which really bothered me was it was sold to the planning board as a blighted building, and this will correct the blight in the building and in the neighborhood, which is a tough neighborhood as it is, and that this will ease the housing crisis in Fall River.
Oh, really? Since most of the people can't
Afford it.
But it's, yeah, well, like I said, there they go with their bull, I almost said it, bad boy, bull crap rhetoric.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what they do. It'll ease, yeah, build houses that they can't afford. What are they going to do? Pitch a tent in the yard in front of it? Because they can't afford the thing. I mean, these people lie so much or
Represent.
not only misrepresent, they mischaracterize the entire situation
Correct.
in the city.
Yes.
That they think everybody in the city is a moron. You know, we didn't write a proclamation for the Swami. I can figure out that if you build market rate housing that's going to go for $2,000 or $1,700 or $1,800, and people are making $28,000 a year, you know, even if they're making $35,000 a year and they got a couple of kids and stuff, they're not going to be able to afford it. That's not going to ease anything. What it's going to do is make one of your out-of-town rich developers or one of your local developers rich. That's all it's going to do. They're going to make it, and what are you going to fill it with again? Are you going to stop bringing people down from Brockton, like that guy down at South End that called us said?
Yep.
Are you going to bring people in from the Newport Naval Base as give them temporary units like you did down on Duval Street? But you notice who got the high-end people. You didn't see anybody from Brockton getting stuck down on Duval Street, because we all know who owns that place.
That's right.
Who did he get? All the people going to the Naval War College.
That's right.
You know, officers of the Navy who are going to be there for a year at the Naval War College, and then they'll rotate them because that War College is a continu.
Right.
But that's what they get. Listen, this is the biggest con in the world, but do we hear about what's going on? He's making 4 jobs to replace 1. There's all kinds of, I mean, it's unacceptable social behavior. Does anybody know? I'd like some school committeeman to reach out. They got our numbers. Reach out to me and tell me, is the head of security on administrative leave? This is an allegation. And it's a serious, serious allegation, as is groping students, as is harassing women,
Which, by the way,
as is violating the American Disabilities Act and the AIDS discrimination laws.
Which, by the way, that teacher allegedly who groped the student is still in the school and is still around students.
And from what we've been told, and as I said, these are all allegations, but you don't think the public has a right to know that there's an investigation going on? No, because you got to protect. You got to protect the connected. Remember, haves, have-nots, connected, unconnected. So even some of the haves have become unconnected, and they don't like it either.
Right.
So there's only one way to fix this. We need somebody who's going to tell the people what's going on, require people to do their jobs, and run this city on, if you can't do the job, you're gone. We're not going to protect you. We're not going to hide everything. Keep you employed, and then when you leave, we'll hire you back as a consultant. And this is inexcusable. And when you get your water rates, people, remember, this is only the beginning. When you get your tax bill, which will go up, it actually went up more. Remember that he's skimming money to pad the bill right now. But next year, this is just for an election year. And it's going to be bad enough. The only thing I can say is this city better, safer,
Cleaner.
and a better place, cleaner, than it was 3.5 years ago when we got a guy that just wanders around with virtual reality glasses on and his head where the sun doesn't shine.
And his hands in his pockets. So, I want you all to remember, this is going to come before the City Council Committee on Ordinance next Monday. Send in your written comments, send in your bodies, and make some citizens' input. Let them know, because if your voice isn't heard, they're going to pass it. And remember, $1.06 is not cheap. $1.06 is not cheap. Neither is $1.01 or $1.31. And neither is $200 for the rainwater tax. Rainwater tax, $200.
You know, that rain is, we got to get something.
I know, it's ridiculous. So just remember, this is where we're going. This is the start of the budget season. Here you go already. Increase in fees. Huge increase in fees. Not like 8 cents like last year. Not like 16 cents like last year. $1 and change. $1.31 and $1.06. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great day.